Hi friends, Roxanne here. So let's finish up these hydrangeas. You can see from the previous little short video, I created these by just making a circle in pencil of little flowerets. You can maybe see the pencil lines where I had drawn these little flowerets. And then I just dropped in cobalt blue or ultramarine blue or Daniel Smith lavender. And then while they were still wet, maybe dropped in a little bit of ultramarine rose or rose of ultramarine. It's another Daniel Smith color. And before I begin this, let me just take out some of the spare pencil lines while this is completely dry. And I have a couple of leaves left to paint. And then before we call these complete, I'm going to make a really pale wash of Daniel Smith lavender on top of these. And that kind of pulls them together and gives them that nice blue look. You can see on this page, there's a little bit of some blue in the background. And so I'm going to do that on this page. And I got that nice pale blue with a wash of Daniel Smith lavender. So these are bone dry. I painted those last night. Let me see if I can get that last little bit of pencil off here. Because once you, if you paint on top of the pencil, then you can't erase it. And, I always tell my classes, there's no big deal about having pencil marks in your painting. I mean, John Singer Sargent did it, so hey, we can too. Let me get a nice little mix of Daniel Smith lavender, probably in, I'd say, coffee range. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've got a little free tutorial on my website. Tea, coffee, milk, cream, and butter. So, okay, I like it about like that. And I'm going to let me just make sure I got a puddle big enough. So I'm just going to drag that one pass over top of those flowers, those little flowerets. And see how it kind of unites it? I might draw, some of the little bits sticking out, because even if you have like a ball of hydrangeas, there's going to be some of the petals that stick out just a little bit. All right, let's do that on this one. And of course, now I have to grow my puddle again because I used it up on that one. So I want to get a little bit more pigment. But I don't want it too thick because I don't want to hide it. The lavender is a little bit opaque. Add a little bit more water. All right. Now let's drag that over these. So when I drag this over, I don't want to scrub at it, or that's going to lift up the bottom bits. Let's give it a couple little petals that are poking outward. All right, let's do the same thing here. And that just unifies all these little flowerets. So this is a pretty easy way to make hydrangeas, because it has that feeling of hydrangeas. All right, let's get this last one. I'm going to grow my puddle a little bit because it's, getting down to not much. Let's add a little water and let's check out that consistency. I always check it before I just go sweeping away at it. All right, let's get that. Now I have two little leaves down here to fill in. Let's kind of indicate some of those little pokey petals that are coming out. I'm going to wait till this dries before I add these last two leaves. But you can see these leaves, this granulation in there and how the color kind of seeps out. I've been using Daniel Smith's Green Apatite Genuine. And it's in their Primatech line of colors, which are these beautiful minerals. And you can even see where it dried on my palette. See that granulation? There's almost like this these little bronzy bits within the green, and it just dries so beautifully. You can see from my little scratch paper how that granulated out, and there's almost this little bit of bronziness in the green. It's such a lovely effect. I love using it. It's quite fun. So let's see. That's still a little bit wet. Let me hit it with some heat. I should dry it up a little quicker. And if you haven't caught this on one of my previous videos, this little heat tool looks like a hairdryer, but it's the Ranger Heat It Craft tool. And it doesn't blow as forcefully, so it's not as loud, but it puts out a lot of heat. So you don't want to hold it over anything plastic or you'll probably melt it. All right, let's get these last little leaves in here. Let me turn this book so I think that's a bit watery. I want to get a little bit more pigment in there. Let's suck up some of that water. So if you ever have anything that's a little too watery, make a thirsty brush, tap it on your paint, soak that up. Let me go back in with something with a little bit more pigment. And drop that in. Fill in those spaces, and then let's get this last little leaf. I just love this paint. It's such a pretty effect. Okay, and then I think I might paint in my little hydrangea title. You know, I had started this page a good while back, and after my walk yesterday, I saw some, I mean, it's like mid-November, and there's like these late bloomers on a couple of the hydrangeas in the neighborhood that were just poking out, and I thought, wow, you know, how incredible that they're popping out this late in the year. And it just kind of made me think about late bloomers in general. And you know, so I went back to this page, which I started, gosh, months ago, and I had just not finished it up, and I thought, you know, I'm going to finish it. And what a joy that was to have something that I can go back and finish so easily. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to fill in that, date the page, because it's now finally finished. And it was so much fun just playing with these hydrangeas. So have a fun painterly day, guys.